Yeah, so before we jumped on, I was playing Power Wash Simulator,
Oh yeah.
and it's got a career mode, right? And it just kind of seems normal, and then I'm up to what is maybe the last mission or the second last mission, and all of a sudden, aliens.
I know. I've actually finished the career in that game and I was like, what since when is this about aliens?
Yeah, right.
But I don't know. It was kind of cool to have a little bit of a storyline
Oh,
towards the end, I guess.
absolutely. I loved the text messages on the like, some of the text messages that came up on the side were hilarious.
Ah, yeah.
Like when you clean in the like the Ferris wheel and stuff, and there's like another carnival owner just like ragging on the shit that you're cleaning.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, they're a real Karen about
Yeah, exactly. Uh, like I was just doing it for the platinum. I mean, it's a fun game, but I was doing it for the platinum. But then I was like, yeah, pleasantly surprised.
it. Yeah. I actually got a tiny bit of motion sickness playing that game. Like whenever I first started playing,
Yeah,
some
right.
like in a session, and then after like a few minutes I'd be okay. But I'd actually notice just a bit of like nausea whenever I started. So
That's really weird. So you probably don't go too well with the VR stuff then.
I haven't actually tried VR.
Yeah, I mean, give it a go one day, but maybe don't because
Yeah.
if you get
Well, I feel like I'd totally be one of those people too that just fall fucking straight on their face and you
yeah.
know can't do
See, that's the other reason why I want you to play it.
it. I could see in the corner with your camera out, ready to go.
Flip phone, 2003 flip phone, ready to record. World star, baby. Oh, how about we get into what is now the second take of our first episode?
Okay, let's do it.
Hells yeah.
Fight! Oh, you get
You were almost a jibble sandwich.
Welcome to the very first episode of the Dirty Taters podcast. We are your hosts, the Unclean and Potato Patronus. Say hello.
Hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey. Yeah, we're going to introduce ourselves to you and tell you a little bit about what we're doing here, and yeah, let's get started. As I said, I am the Unclean. Um, what to tell you about myself? I've been, I have ADD, ADHD, whatever you want to call it. I am neurospicy, and I have been playing games ever since I found them at 5 years old. At least that's my earliest memory of playing games. Playing the original Mario Brothers, maybe one of the Zelda games. It's hard to recall. It's a long time ago for me now, but yeah, ever since I started playing games, I got hooked. And no matter what's happened in my life, playing football, being a professional wrestler, career, all that stuff, video games have always been there. It's something that's pretty common these days. Like some of the top NFL players and stuff play Call of Duty on the weekends and stuff. But back when, as I was growing up, it wasn't so common to be like, work your Monday to Friday job and then spend all weekend playing video games or all your spare time or whatever. What about you, Potato? Give us a little history about you, and then we can sort of talk about what why are we even doing this.
Yeah, so when I was a young lass, my parents came home with a Sega Mega Drive, and I don't remember a lot of games with that, but I remember Sonic the Hedgehog and Alex the Kid.
Yeah, classics.
Yeah, went on to a PS1. Spyro the Dragon is probably still like those three original games are still probably like in in my top. top favorite games. So
Hells yeah. So the remakes of the Spyro would have been right up your alley then.
oh, definitely. I think I've already like 100%ed the first two games, and I'm on to the third one now. So
Hells yeah.
yeah, loving it. Went on to PS2, played a bit of SNES and 64, just at like friends' places and stuff growing up. And yeah, then sort of played Sims on PC. That's probably the only consistent thing I've played. Because I went through a stage where, I was out, doing the whole party thing when I was 18. So
Nice.
sort of
So that kind of took you away from gaming for a while?
yeah, that was on the wayside for a while. And yeah, and then when I met my partner, probably about, I think 7-8 years ago now, he got me back into it. And now I'm pretty much just, yeah, straight in PC.
Wow,
So,
you've been with Mr. Zeus that long.
yeah.
Feels like longer.
Don't get me started.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what brought you sorry, getting with Mr. Zeus brought you back to gaming, but like what's kept you here, you know?
I honestly, I think going to PC, I could be wrong, but I feel like there's a lot more range of things to play, a lot more access to stuff and mods, and you can pretty much do anything. And
Yeah, I definitely agree with that to a degree. Like when you play a game on PC, there's definitely way more options, especially if there's a strong modding community behind it. The only way I
yeah,
would disagree is that, like, there are a lot of games that don't even come to PC these days.
I have actually started noticing that. Yeah,
But other than that, no, 100% agree. Like, that mod that we've got to play Red Dead so that we don't have to deal with cheaters all the time is fantastic.
oh, I know. Hey, and I think actually that might be probably the main thing that's kept me playing over the years is playing with you and Bastion and the crew.
Yeah, nice.
So
We're,
I
we're
really
a pretty
enjoy that
hardy
time.
crew.
Yeah, we are. So I always look forward to that.
Hells yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know about you, but the reason I wanted to do this podcast, I've been wanting to start the podcast for years, and there's been many attempts. All failed for various reasons. COVID was one of them. Whatever. Life gets in the way, as it does sometimes. But mostly, I just love video games so much, and I annoy my partner talking about them so much. I figured, well, if I've got this much to say about video games, then maybe someone else would be interested to hear it.
Oh, I think definitely.
Let's hope so, hey?
Yeah. For me, I don't know. Honestly, I just thought it'd be fun to do a project with you and have something other than working gaming, pretty much.
Yeah,
So.
working 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, that whole gig isn't really all it's cracked up to be, is it?
No, definitely not. And with my line of work, working in the office, I'm forever doing overtime and
it's real shit work, I hear.
oh, it's so much fun.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted you on this project was because you have a completely different perspective on things, like not just because of your history of gaming or lack of, however you might say it, but having a femme voice on the podcast is always welcome. And hopefully, as we progress, we can get some guests on from all different backgrounds and hear about their experiences in gaming.
Yeah.
It's not the same for everyone. For me, if it wasn't for gaming when I was younger, I changed so many primary schools. I didn't have enough. Like I went to, I think I worked it out. I went to 9 primary schools, so I didn't really have a lot of time.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't really have a lot of time to make friends. So if I didn't have like gaming or some kind of hobby, I'm sure it could have been something else. But for me, it was gaming. I probably would have felt very lonely a lot. But like, not only was the gaming fun and keeping me entertained, but when you met new people, especially at that age, you'd be like, hey, have you played a Nintendo or a Mega Drive or whatever? You know, it was something you could bond over with people, even if you weren't around them for very long.
Yeah, so it was a real constant for you.
Absolutely. If, like I said previously, like everything I've done throughout my life has always been complemented by video games. Like I was a pretty serious football player, you know, in my teenage years and early 20s. Um, I wouldn't I wouldn't wish some of the training drills and exercises and fitness regimes that I had to do on my worst enemy. Like
Yeah.
some of my pre-seasons were things like we're going for a 5K run, then we're going to swim in the pool for an hour. You know,
Okay,
and-
I'd already be dead.
yeah, and then we're going to start our ball handling skills.
Was that your favorite part?
Oh, I love handling my balls. But yeah, no, you know, after all that, you know, I'd come home, fit in an hour or so of gaming, or, you know, oh, I don't have training tonight. Awesome. You know, it's a gaming night. The only bad thing has been as I've gotten older, the training stopped, but the gaming's continued. And not that the gaming is bad, but there's no fitness, not as much fitness to balance out the inactivity as there used to be. You know.
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a real struggle with people in general, I'd say.
Oh,
I struggle with that too.
absolutely. It's definitely not unique to me. I think I just feel it a bit more in my soul or something because, like, you know, from the time I was like 13 till probably like 30, I was like playing competitive sports like non-stop. You know, well, non-stop's not the right word, but like I was training all year round to keep myself in competitive fitness shape.
Yeah, right.
So now as I've gotten older and my body's like dying and failing me, yeah, not enjoying that as much as you would think.
Yeah, that sucks, dude.
Look, again, gaming brings me back. Gaming enriches me. And as you said before, gaming keeps us, you know, friends together. Friends together strong.
Definitely. Power of friendship.
Yeah. And I think, you know, in our sort of meetings leading up to this, we, you know, kind of discuss as well that even though we probably want to talk about gaming the most, you know, I'm a big movie and TV buff. Again, so much so that all the little trivia that I have really really can bother the people that I'm watching shows with.
I can't say, I don't think I've sat through enough movies with you to have sort of experienced that yet, but it sounds like you're one of those people that just, you know, repeat all the lines constantly.
If I'm not repeating lines, I'm telling you a weird fact about like, oh, when they shot this, that, you know, they had to, you know, I'll use a classic like when Aragorn kicks the helmet in Lord of the Rings.
Didn't he break a toe?
Yeah, exactly. When
Yeah.
he screams out, he's actually screaming because he actually broke his toe when he kicked it, but he stayed in character, so they were able to use it for the shot. And another one of my favorite, very classic, and another one of my favorites is the intro scene for Hot Rod when he jumps over the van. The shot they use is actually the shot of the stuntman breaking his leg on the ramp, like the actual stuntman who filled in for Andy Samberg to record that scene.
Oh my god!
If you slow it down, you can actually see his like his lower leg like snap in half over the ramp.
Wow, I feel like I need to go back and watch that now.
I haven't watched it for a while now, so I need to watch it just for what do they call it, posterity?
Yeah, true. Yeah, but, keep it fresh.
Exactly. I think not all Andy Samberg movies, but a good bunch of them now are in my definite rotation, you know, of must watches every year or so.
I have to say, while we're talking about Andy Samberg, have you seen Palm Springs?
I haven't yet. I wanted to watch it when it was on Netflix, and by the time I got around to like actually watching it, it had left, and I haven't seen where to stream it since.
Okay. I've got it on Amazon, so
Oh, hells yeah.
yeah, you'll have to come over.
Yeah.
It's really good.
No,
Really good.
I've on YouTube I sometimes, well, I say sometimes, I spend a lot of time watching people narrate movies and
Okay.
condenses them down to like 10-15 minute segments. And especially when it's a movie that I'm like not so sure about, I like to watch it and then be like, oh, that movie looked good. I'm going to watch the proper thing. Like I've done that with a few movies. Obviously, there's some movies where I want to know nothing about it, so I will not do that. But if it's a movie that I don't care about being spoiled, and I just want to like know if it's worth my time, like watching the whole thing, I'll chuck that on. And yeah, I actually did that with a series I started recently. I watched the whole thing. It's called The Strain. I watched the whole
Yep.
about vampires and stuff. Directed by Guillermo. I always have trouble saying that name. Guillermo del Toro. Him and one of his friends wrote the story and stuff. And anyway, I was watching it on one of those videos. It would like narrate like say 5 or 6 episodes at a time or something like that. I don't know. So after like an hour or two of watching this thing, I had like all 3 or 4 seasons down. And I was like, hey, I like this show. I'm going to watch it.
Yeah, that's cool. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, like they usually call them like minute movies or something, but like they definitely don't go for a minute. It's more like, yeah, depends on the movie. Like some are like 8 minutes, some are like more like 15 minutes.
I reckon I do that for TV shows to see whether or not it's worth investing like seasons worth of hours.
Oh, absolutely.
To watch it, yeah.
That's how I found out about another show that I want to watch called The Silo, which I think is on Apple TV.
Okay.
I can't really tell you exactly what it's about. People live in a silo and they're not allowed to go outside or whatever. But after watching the thing of the first episode, I was like, oh, that seems actually interesting. I might watch that. I'm going to go steal my mom's Apple TV account.
Thanks, Mom.
Yeah, and watch the hell out of that one. What about you? Have you started anything new lately? Like,
I have just finished my first watch through of The Office, the American version.
ooh, nice.
So that was good to finally get finished and yeah, sort of know how everything sort of ended up. Yeah, amazing show. I'll definitely watch through it again at some point.
It's a show I've never actually watched all the way through, but it's on my cards. It's just I'm always too busy watching shows like 30 Rock and Parks and Rec and stuff, and I'm like,
oh yeah. See, if you like Parks and Rec, I feel like you'd like The Office.
I have absolutely I have all the faith in the world, that I will like it. It's just that every time I've gone to watch it, either I watch the first season and go, because the first season's kind of crap. If you've seen the British one,
I couldn't even get through the first season of the British one.
Yeah, but like because they're so similar, and I've seen the British one, like I kind of just go, but then I start the second season, and I know it's all good.
Yeah. Oh, it's just like I love cringe. Like I love the In-Betweeners. I loved the American version of The Office, but I couldn't do Ricky's Office.
Yeah, right.
That was too much.
I like cringe too, but the first season it was he was like too good at being cringy. So
yes.
So I was just like, yeah, and look, we've said it. I don't like the first season that much, but I will rewatch it soon because it's on my list of things to watch after a couple other shows I finish. The Strain being one of them.
It's a lot to get through as well. Like it's a long series, but
it's
worth it.
But at least they're only 20 episodes.
That's true.
Now, as we move on a little bit here, you've got some console news, I believe.
Yeah, so I treated myself over Christmas and bought a Switch OLED.
Ooh,
So I haven't had a console since the PS2, I
yeah.
believe.
Wow, that's a long time to not have a console.
I know. So, yeah. One thing I do know is that I love being able to lay on the couch again while playing games.
It is a
So
little
good.
hard to do that with the computer, but
Yeah.
I've seen some setups. It's not impossible, just hard.
Yeah, true. So yeah, no, it's been really fun. I've played haven't played a lot of games yet, but I've played Animal Crossings and I've played Mario Odyssey.
Mario Odyssey, nice.
So
Very good
good.
game.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. Yeah, cool graphics, easy to play. Like, the controls are easy to figure out and to use and yeah.
The thing that's always been good about Mario games is the controls are always really simple. It's like you have maybe a jump button and an attack button, but like when you get real good at it, like there's so many like combinations of things and stuff. Like hit, um, the wall slide mechanic in Mario games these days.
Oh yeah, I kind of got that in Odyssey yet? I'm just trying to remember.
I think you start with it, but sorry, I had to yawn there for a second. That's why I stopped. The wall slide jump mechanic thing, that all came about because in one of the original Mario games, probably the first one, but I don't quite remember. Um, like people got so good at the game, they figured out how to do it, like just within the game itself, like by like glitching the game slightly so they could like jump off walls and that. So that when I don't remember if it was Mario 64 or a prior game, but they eventually included it as an actual mechanic because they were like, yeah, this is really cool, and we can create more um like more fiendish designs with our jump puzzles and stuff.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. Yeah, well, Odyssey's been really fun. So I'm up to the Lost Kingdom. So I've done my first battle with Bowser. So I've been through like the jungle, the wooded kingdom, the lake kingdom. Defeated all the bunnies that were like trying to get like the bouquet and the dress and all that sort of stuff. So now I've been kicked off Cloud Kingdom and I'm in the Lost Kingdom. And I'm actually at a point where I can't get this stupid jump and I rage quit. And I have to go back and keep trying. So yeah, it'll be user error. It'll just be me doing something silly. So yeah.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I really like the graphics. I like the nods to the original games as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of it's not even hidden, just like some of the suits and stuff you can buy, just literally like the suits from like previous games and stuff.
Yeah.
You can unlock
And
music
then-
tracks as well from memory. It's been a little while since I played it.
Yeah, actually some of the music tracks, I don't know if they're exactly the same, but I think they might be similar.
They would definitely be like based on them, but
Yeah.
some of the original tracks are like full, chip tune MIDI versions, so they probably aren't that, but an updated version of those songs.
Yeah. And then yeah, like, there'll be walls. To get up the wall, you have to do like a 2D side scroller version of the game, like the originals.
Yeah,
you sort of pop back out into the 3D sort of world. So
that was one really cool thing I liked when I first played it. It was just that whole feeling like you're playing the original NES game again.
Yeah.
Is there anything about it that surprised you, or maybe even that you don't like?
I wouldn't say there was anything I didn't like. I did actually notice some similarities between Odyssey and the original Spyro games.
Yeah.
Like, it reminded me of playing Spyro. It had sort of similar little puzzles in each like level that I remember kind of doing in Spyro. So, but other than that, I can't really find anything to
It's pretty. It's a
say
pretty.
negatively.
It's a pretty hard game to fault. I will 100% agree there.
Yeah.
Like one of the worst things about the game is just the fact that there's so many bloody moons to catch or collect.
Yeah,
sorry,
true.
and it's like that's not even really a bad thing. It's just the fact that there's so many of them. If you want to complete the game, like you're going to be at it for a while.
Oh yeah, I can see like how you could do like a very simple playthrough, which is what I'm doing now, like for the first playthrough. And then if you actually wanted to go back and get everything, it would take a while.
Absolutely, and I don't mean to burst your bubble at all, but when you finish the game, when you go through the levels, you imagine, not imagine, you would have seen all those like silver kind of like square cube things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you finish the game, those become like active, and when you like activate them in the level, they almost double the amount of power moons in the level to find.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
In fact, some of the main power moons you can't even get until you finish the game.
Really?
Yeah, because there's like certain mechanics that happen like real late in the game that you need them to be active to sort of do that thing to get that power moon, and
Okay.
it's kind of funny to me too because not funny. That's not really the right word. It's not funny, but like when Mario 64 came out, right? There was 120 stars to collect, like six stars per world plus some secret stars around the place that you could find.
Okay.
Mario Odyssey comes in at like 900 power moons, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think at the moment I've probably found about 20 per level, and that was like the max they would let me get to like before I had to continue, kind of thing.
Yeah, that makes sense. It sounds like my experience too when I first played it. I think because I did myself a mischief, and I went back recently and like deleted all my save files for most of my Nintendo games because I'm like I'm going to start them all again, and like complete them and blah blah blah. And I think I had
Do you hate past Unclean right now? Or?
I don't hate him, but he definitely hasn't worked in my favor.
I'd be dirty at myself if I did that. I think.
I think I was okay with it just because most of the games that I did on were quick to like get to the ending of.
Okay.
It just made it easier so like if I wanted to follow a guide, for example, to grab certain stars, it just made it, or whatever game it is I'm playing, it made it easier to track rather than like going through a big guide and being like, oh, I've already got that one, I've already got that one, I've already got that one. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
But also, like, I think the last time I played Mario, I had somewhere close to 300 power moons, and at the moment I'm probably less than 100, maybe a bit over 100. Like, I'd have to power up my Switch and have a look, which I haven't actually done since I bought the PS Portal, which we can definitely talk about that in a future. Probably next week's episode, because I definitely want to fill you in on that one, especially after, by the time this episode comes out, I should be balls deep in Final Fantasy Rebirth.
That's all you've been talking about lately.
You have no idea. I am the biggest Final Fantasy VII fan, like Final Fantasy in general, but specifically Final Fantasy VII. I have bought it on pretty much every platform it's been available on, except for phone. I don't really buy games on like those kinds of games on phone.
Yeah,
I've got it on. I bought it on PS1 when it came out. I bought it on the PSP. I bought it on the PS Vita. I bought it on the PS4 when the PS4 version came out. The only reason I didn't buy it on PC is because my friend already owned it, so I just borrowed it off him to play it.
Oh yeah.
I bought the remake as as soon as it came out, and now we've got Rebirth coming out. It's I love it. I love it too much.
Just to put this into perspective as well, like you've bought Helldivers 2. What was that late last week to play with us?
Yeah.
And that's just so you're like, all right, I'm probably going to get about a week of that with you guys, and then I'm gone.
Yeah.
You won't see me for a while.
And I barely even got that weekend because as
No.
of recording, Final Fantasy Rebirth comes out tomorrow, and
Oh really?
yeah,
Damn it.
and I've played maybe like 6 or 7 missions in total of Helldivers.
I haven't even played with you.
No, I played by myself to test it out, and I played with Bastion.
Yeah, right.
So what might happen though, thankfully, is that I might do a whole bunch of remake through the day, and then when it comes to night, when you guys are ready to play, I might actually be free to play. I might be like, oh yeah, I'll jump off for a bit. You know what I mean?
You better be.
I can't. No, I'm not making any promises.
I'm shaking my fists through the microphone at you right now.
Oh no, not the old shook fist. What else? So obviously Mario Odyssey's been a good one. We've delved into that a little bit. What else about the Switch appealed you to it, or appealed it to you, I should say?
I did like the idea of having a console that I could take anywhere and play anywhere. So as well as, I've never really had a Nintendo console of my own.
Which is blasphemous. I'm not sure why we're friends, but
I know.
keep
How
going.
have I gotten this far in life without one? I don't know. But yeah, so I've been missing out on games like, Zelda and Pokemon and, Mario and all sorts of stuff. So I'm like, well, if I'm enjoying PC gaming so much, if I'm going to get a console, it should be a Switch, because that has games that I don't have access to. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm down with that. It's still just funny to hear someone who never owned a Nintendo console. To me, that's just I feel like in Australia, most people owned a Nintendo. Yeah, some people had Sega. I remember I had a Master System for a while. But Nintendo was I've owned from memory, other than the Super Nintendo, I've owned every Nintendo console that has ever come out at some point in my life.
Wow. Oh, I did have a Game Boy.
A game,
as well,
yeah, that's fair.
But a little bit different. But yeah, I had a Game Boy.
Game Boys were good though, except for the whole battery thing.
I know. Oh, not having it wasn't backlit either. Remember?
No, it wasn't backlit. You had to buy an accessory for it. That's why the Game Boy Color came out, it was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Actually, was the Game Boy Color even backlit?
I don't.
I think some versions were, and I think some versions weren't. I think it was one of those ones.
Must have been very late versions, because I don't think mine was. And I remember my brother and I would be trying to play. I think we had Pokemon Red and Blue, maybe.
Yeah.
Trying to play games like that. It's nighttime. You're shining all sorts of lights around, being I need to see.
Yeah, I remember doing that with my original Game Boy, definitely. I can't recall the Game Boy Color a whole lot, just purely because it was really weird even when it came out, because they released the Game Boy Color, then literally 2 years after that was released, they released the Game Boy Advance, which was backlit and had its own. Yeah. It had an option to turn the screen light on and off or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And then obviously 3DS came out after that, and we go on from there.
But yeah, I think the only the only time I did play a bit of SNES was at my auntie's house. My brother and I'd go around there and we'd take turns with my cousins. I think we're playing Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. So
Mortal Kombat, solid.
Yeah. I think we even got to the point where we knew the special moves off by heart kind of thing.
Mortal Kombat's a funny one for me, because when I was younger, even though I played it a lot, to the point that my mum refused to play it with me anymore, because I would just be here all the time. I actually didn't know the special moves very much. Like, I figured out a few by accident, but like,
Okay.
I guess the version that I had didn't come with the book or something, and I just didn't know the special moves.
Oh, I think ours had a menu in game. You could check them from memory.
Yeah, I know some versions did. But I just don't remember. I don't remember why I didn't know the moves. I just remember that I didn't. And with the Super Nintendo, it was often, my mum would often hire it from the video store. So I never owned it. I never owned a copy of Mortal Kombat, and the manual mustn't have come with it or something.
Okay. Oh, well, you must have did all right, though, if you kept beating your mum all those years.
Yeah, well, Mortal Kombat 1 is notoriously famous for being able to spam like a jump and kick move. You jump, kick, they fall to the ground. You backstep or they get up, jump, kick, they fall to the ground.
And they never get a move in.
Yeah, my mum would get so annoyed with me. Like I rage quitting before rage quitting was a thing.
Awesome.
I actually have movie news since that not movie news, sorry, but like news about me going to the movies. Considering last time we went, we tried to record this. I hadn't seen anything at the movies.
Oh, what did you see?
I went and saw a movie called Baghead.
Oh, I think I saw a trailer for that. Was it good?
Like it was definitely good, but it was like the first two acts were like really good, and the third act was kind of like, that's disappointing.
Oh, really?
But like not enough to ruin the movie, just enough to be kind of like, like it was going so well, and you fell over at the hurdle. At least in my opinion, like I don't want to give spoilers for it or anything, but there's definitely a whole bunch of like ways that the plot goes towards the end that, in my opinion, don't make sense.
Okay. It sucks when you like watch something that you really enjoy and they seem to miss the mark for the end.
100% agree. And unfortunately for me, being a huge horror movie fan, it happens all too much. Like you can get some movies where they kind of fall over at the end or whatever, but a lot of horror movies are like, they just make them because they're like, oh, we want some blood and gore and all this kind of stuff, and we've got this really cool concept. We just don't know how to finish it, so we're just gonna like, oh yeah, we'll just cut to black here, or oh, it was a dream all along. It's gonna be something stupid because they just don't know how to finish it, even though the concept is cool.
Yeah, that sucks. Yeah, it definitely seems to happen more with horror, doesn't it?
I'd say horror and probably sci-fi.
So, yeah.
A lot of sci-fi movies often have some kind of weird thing at the end.
I love sci-fi, but I do agree with you on that.
Yeah, I love sci-fi. I mean, I love all movies, but horror, sci-fi, thriller. They're like my three sort of go-tos, unless I want to watch comedy.
Yeah.
But yeah, Baghead, like, it was good. I would definitely recommend it. But
okay. I am the biggest scaredy cat, so I probably won't watch it.
Honestly, it wasn't that like scary, like not to me, but there was one really good jump scare that my partner just like literally screamed in the cinema. And then
that would have been funny.
It's always hilarious. Especially because like I just don't jump scare very much. Like, so when I do get a jump scared by something, I know I'm like, oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, true.
And this one was okay, but it was like, to me, it was obvious. To a lot of people, it wouldn't be, but to me, it was. But then they had this other jump scare that was just like, it was almost like someone watched, like a producer or something watched the movie and was like, there's not enough scares in this. So at the end of this scene here, even though there's no need for it, just throw a jump scare. Like, it wasn't like someone turned a corner and then like there was a ghost or something. It was like literally the scene ended and then they had like a figure jump scare at the screen
Really?
Yeah.
Was it like breaking the fourth wall?
It wasn't breaking the fourth wall, but it was just like the thing that jumped at the screen wasn't a part of the scene, had nothing to do with the scene. It was just like, oh, this was a tense scene, but there was no scares in it. So how about we just chuck a jump scare there? That's what it seemed like. It seemed like someone in the studio was like, oh yeah, just chuck a jump scare, because it's like, black screen, just the ghost or whatever. It's not really a ghost; it's something else. But
Okay.
but yeah, and then it just goes back into the movie, and you're just like first of all, it wasn't that scary to begin with, and secondly, it was just like, what?
What was that?
What the hell? Okay, I guess.
Yeah, that's it definitely sounds like something post-production, like they've just chucked it in.
It was so weird. And like I said, like the premise of the movie, so the premise of the movie is basically this dude owns a pub, and in the basement of the pub there's like a lady or something who has a bag over her head. Oh, look at that. It's the name of the movie. And then she's got like this power sort of thing that when she eats something that belongs to someone who's died, she can like she becomes them for like 2 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then the dude at the start of the movie is trying to like destroy it or whatever. He ends up dying, and then it gets passed down to the daughter.
Oh, the pub does?
Yeah. So
Okay.
the concept of the movie is like really cool, and like a lot of the scenes leading up towards the end are like, yeah, cool. Even certain aspects of the end, to be honest, are really like the concept was like cool. But there's definitely a few elements of like over explaining, and also a few elements of like what you just explained to me doesn't really make sense.
Oh, okay.
A spoiler-free way to talk about it is, when most movies, like Fight Club, for example, when you get to the twist at the end, you can like see all the signposting along the way.
So, funny thing, I know the twist, but I've never actually watched that movie.
That is going in the book.
I'm in trouble.
Oh my god. Well, anyway, when you watch the movie, there's all these signposts that, like, when you lean back, when you find out the twist and go back to it, you're like, oh, that makes so much sense.
Okay.
But when the twist sort of happens at the end of Baghead, you're like, they didn't signpost this at all. Like you wouldn't even guess the twist, because there's nothing that like, there's nothing that foreshadows it. There's nothing where you kind of go, hey, why did that happen or whatever. Like you might guess
sucks.
You might guess a portion of the twist.
Okay.
But to guess the whole twist on its own, either you're just really clued in to movies and scripts and how they work, or you just happen to guess it, because like it's not one of those movies where it's like, oh, you'll never guess the twist. It's just like, oh, you probably won't guess the twist because the twist literally comes out of nowhere. Like,
yeah. See, like, I don't know a lot about like tropes and all that sort of stuff, but I've watched enough over the years that I can usually pick storylines and plot twists. But yeah, I feel like I like good signposting and foreshadowing.
And like, it's got good elements in the movie, and it does foreshadow and signpost a certain part of the twist. It's just the whole, like I said, it just gets to the end and it shows you some stuff, and you're like, oh, okay. It's kind of funny. I feel like I'm ragging on a movie that I'm like, yeah, you should watch it, because like it is good. It is worth watching. It
sounds like it's really good until that one thing, and then you're like, I'm just so disappointed.
Pretty much. It's kind of like, actually I won't even go into it because I can't remember the movie. There was a movie a couple of years ago where everyone was like, as long as you just don't watch the end, the movie itself is actually really good.
True.
That doesn't help us in our situation right now, but it's all good. But I'm just glad actually that there was a movie to watch, because the first 6 or 7 weeks of this year has been, at least for me, slim pickings in terms of cinema going. And I was making it a goal
Yeah.
this year to see at least one movie a year at a week, sorry, at the cinemas.
Okay.
And
It's a
all I,
bit hard right now.
oh,
Hey?
like Wonka, like no thank you. Like I'm sure it's great, but I'm just
No.
not into musicals. Like,
It's been done. Like I feel like it wasn't. It was done not that long ago either.
it's longer than you
Maybe.
think. It's not longer ago
Yeah.
than you think, but yes, it has
I think
been recent.
it's just my age. Like I think things are like 5 years ago, but they'll be 20 years ago. And I'm
Yeah,
like, oh god.
yeah. I think the last Wonka movie was in like 2009 or 2010 or something. I'd have to look it up.
Okay, so yeah, it is a little while ago.
It's been a while, but and this one was like a prequel, like like before he was Willy Wonka, before he got the factory and stuff.
So it's
But
not the same story exactly.
no, so like that part was like, oh, okay, maybe, but when I found out it was a musical and stuff, like, not that there's anything wrong with musicals, I was just like, I'm not really feeling this movie as it is, and then having it be a musical on top.
Yeah.
It's like, no thanks.
I'm not big on musicals, but if it's, I don't know, some things I do like I loved Pick of Destiny.
Yes,
I feel like that's just in its own class though. And
absolutely.
I did like the original Wonka growing up.
Yeah, I liked that.
So,
I liked the
yeah.
other Wonka as well. Like, it wasn't as good, but I still liked it.
Yeah. I forgot. I'm going to see June 2 on Saturday.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
I still haven't seen all of June 1. I started watching it on Netflix and then I fell asleep. It's a long movie and I was very tired when we started watching it.
Yeah, it is long, but it's worth going back to watch the whole thing.
Oh, absolutely. And I even considered, because I think at Redcliffe Cinemas they're doing like a thing where you can watch them back to back in the cinema.
Oh, that's cool.
I don't think I will do it because that's like 6 hours in the cinema and I'm not young anymore and I don't do movie marathons as much as I used to.
Could you imagine how stiff our bodies would be if we sat there for 6 hours?
Well, way back in the day, I went and saw all 3 special edition Lord of the Rings at the cinemas.
Holy far out. That's crazy.
Yeah, like it started at like 6 or something PM and you got out of there at like 7 in the morning.
I was going to say that would have been a good 12 hours or so.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
And like there was a little bit of a break between movies so you could like go to the toilet and stuff, but like it wasn't a huge break.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes or something. But it's like, yeah, I had pillows, blankets, snack foods. Hell, I remember what movie marathons used to be an awesome thing, but yeah, they just don't do it anymore. I guess people stopped going, I guess.
That was one thing I actually missed out on as a kid. I never did that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I went to so many. And like me and my friends would like, because they'd usually be 2 or 3 different sessions and we would see which movies we wanted to see. And then we'd like look at have a friend who hopefully wanted to see other movies and be like, okay, well, we want to see the first and third movie of this session, but we don't want to see the second movie. And he'd be like, oh, I don't want to see the second movie in my session, but I wouldn't mind seeing your one. So like we would like swap cinemas and stuff halfway through.
Sneaky.
Technically you were allowed to do it, but technically you weren't allowed to do it, but like, once everyone's kind of once everyone's in there, like, they've already got your money. They don't care what cinema you're in. Like,
yeah, well, that's, I guess at the end of the day, if it's the same amount of people in each cinema, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, and they were usually pretty full back then. I remember doing a movie marathon at the Redcliffe, what do you call it? The entertainment center. They used to have movies there. I think they might still do occasionally, but they used to have movies there before they had their own cinema.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say that was the only place you could see a movie. Hey, in Redcliffe back in the day.
For a long time.
Yeah.
And, I just remember I probably would have gone with your husband, actually.
I was going to say, he's the one that actually told me that. He used to go there quite regularly, so most likely.
And I remember during one of the movies we didn't like, we were like pegging like Maltesers and stuff at people. at the front of the cinema, or we were at the front pegging them up the back or something. I can't remember. We were doing something stupid. And then we were like crawling under all the seats, because this was back when people used cash all the time. And we were crawling under all the seats and like finding like $1 and $2 coins everywhere. And then going to buy like, more lollies and stuff.
Just what you need.
Absolutely. As if we weren't going mental enough. Well, I don't know about you, but we're hitting a pretty good time, I think, to wrap this one up. We've
yeah.
I think the conversation's kind of come to a bit of a natural end here, and we'll I know I've got a few things written down in my notes to talk about next week. I don't know about you.
I have written nothing, but I will make some notes.
Excellent. Fantastic. That's what professionalism at its finest.
Such a pro.
Well, to those of you who are listening, thank you very much. And catch us next week. Maybe we'll have a bit more of a direct topic. Maybe not. Who knows? What I do know is we're going to be talking about video games and possibly some movies.
Of course.
See you guys next week.
Perfect.